Hello and welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I've got something I want to share with you that's going to make a massive improvement in the way that you water your garden. So check this out. Real quick before we get started though, I just wanted to point something out to you here. In my garden bed, I've got this weed growing, which is very common in many gardens. And the great thing about this is that this plant here is edible. This is called common mallow. You're going to want to make sure that you properly identify the plant before consuming it. But we throw this into our mixed greens when we're making sautés and soups and that sort of thing. And it's a wonderful green to consume. It's got a mucilaginous type texture. So it's actually quite soothing as well on the throat. And I love this plant. Unfortunately, this particular one is taking over an area where I don't want it to grow, which is very common with weeds in the garden, hence their name. So we're going to pull this out. Now, as you can see, this plant also has some pretty deep tap roots. And I've mentioned this many times on the channel. That's a great indicator of the nutrient density that the plant's going to have. Because the deeper the root, the deeper it's able to mine minerals from down below the soil surface where other plants' roots may not be able to reach. So this plant's going to be high in minerals, amongst other things. So there you have it, the common mallow. You can eat these fresh off the plant as well. As you can see now, I've opened up this little garden bed so that the echinacea has plenty of sunlight. Here's some of the old stalks from last year. I leave some of these on the plant to dry up so that the birds can come in and eat some of the seed heads. They appreciate that. Now we can clear this area up. And check this out, just installed another cattle panel out in the garden. This is helping to retain some of the goji berry shrubs, a vigorous growing plant that were growing out into the pathway. This is going to allow them to now grow up and over and create a nice little goji tunnel, utilizing that airspace. And I always encourage you to look into utilizing airspace, especially if you've got a small patch of land you're trying to grow. Remember, you can always grow up. And so using trellises of any type is going to allow you to do that. What I really like about this style of design, other than I think it looks cool, is it gives you a little dappled shade, a place where you can step out of the sun in the mid-heat of the day. You can set up a chair, read a book under here if you want. And if you look closely, you can see we've got little gojis already forming all over this shrub. They are really hard to see early on because they're green. But here's what I really want to show you guys today. Right here, what I've got is a 30-gallon container. And you can use any type of a vessel to accomplish what I'm going to share with you today. I actually picked this up at a yard sale for $5 years back. But you can go pick yourself up something like a trash can at your local big box store. Anywhere between 10 and 50 gallons will do. And what this is going to help you to accomplish is a couple different things. First and foremost, if you live in the city or the suburbs, more than likely your tap water coming in through the main line is going to have either chlorine or chloramines in there. Chloramines are a bond of chlorine and ammonia. They're harder to dissipate. So unlike just chlorine, where you could actually percolate, bubble the water over a 24-hour period, or just fill a vessel like this and let it sit for a couple days to help to dissipate that chlorine, chloramines don't go away that easy. So it can be very beneficial to filter the water or to treat it with something to help to break that bond, to help to dissipate and remove the chlorine and chloramines. One of the best ways I found to neutralize and remove chlorine and chloramines from the water is to simply add in a little bit of vitamin C powder, and you can do this for pennies on the dollar. It doesn't take much. You only need about 1,000 milligrams to treat 30 to 50 gallons of water, which in this case, because of the strength of this vitamin C, is only a quarter teaspoon. So a little container like this, which is just a few dollars, can treat many, many barrels of water all summer long. So this is a half teaspoon, and I just need a quarter teaspoon to treat this whole batch of water. That's it. And it's a good idea to allow it about 10 minutes to fully dissolve and get the desired effect. And as a side benefit, plants actually benefit from getting small doses of vitamin C, just as we humans do. And real quick, my friends, if you're enjoying today's video, if you found it helpful or entertaining in any way, do us a favor and smash that thumbs button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We put up new uploads every week, sometimes every day, and we're always updating you on all the projects going on around here. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop and you never miss an upload. And please shoot us a comment as well. We really love to hear from you. It means a lot. So thank you, everybody. Now, the main reason for having chlorine and chloramines in the water supply is to keep it free of bacteria. So when it arrives in your home, it's safe to drink and used for cooking and washing and that sort of thing. But that chlorine and chloramine can have a detrimental effect on the life of your soil and the microbes. So doing this is a first step, whether you're going to be watering your garden just directly with this water, or you're making a compost tea or a weed tea, is going to give you the foundation to get going and create a nice healthy brew, or just have a healthy water supply to help to feed your plants. Now, another great reason I found to have a vessel like this full of water in your garden is that if you're using a watering can like I often do, whether you're direct watering your plants or you're adding some fertilizer in, having something like this that you can just dip your can into makes it quick and easy. Much better than having to take the time in between fillings to use the hose to fill this up. A lot of times you're going to be bending over to do that. You can just stand up here and again, in a second, have your watering can full. Another great way to distribute the water or compost tea, whatever you're brewing out in your garden, is to use some sort of a pump, a transfer pump or a sump pump. You can drop that down in there, and this is going to allow you to disperse quickly through a traditional hose and nozzle. And I have a couple different style pumps that I use. I have a transfer pump and a sump pump. And depending on what type of nozzle you're using, you can be watering this way for 10 to 15 minutes. You can get your whole garden done with a setup like this. In conclusion, I want to leave you with this, especially for those who don't have access to any of these materials and are worried that they need this stuff in order to have success in their garden. That's not true. I've watered my garden for years using the tap water that comes in without any treatment, and I've had good results. This is just a way to get even better results in your garden, so I want to share it with you. I think it can help you out. So with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.